learning to manage the game better at the end, and I didn't think we did a good job of that the last 20 minutes.
Yes, hello and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Those were fantastic moments with the Super Falcons of Nigeria against their counterpart Cote d'Ivoire during the qualifiers for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. So those were one of the qualifier games that the Super Falcons actually did partake in, and you saw there around the world room trying to say one or two. All right, I welcome you to the show proper this morning. I've got a regular suspect on the show this morning. I've got Wilfred Shiondo. Welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV.
Good morning, Mr. Fash, and
okay, let's begin from cricket. It is the Under-19 Women's Cricket World Cup qualifiers, where our own Under-19 cricket team, the Yellow Greens, women are partaking in the qualifiers, and they've been giving a very good account of themselves. Now they've gotten to the semi-final, where they will be battling Rwanda in the semi-final of the Under-19 Cricket Women's World Cup qualifier. That World Cup is bid for Malaysia. So we'll top our group, and now we'll be playing the second team, that is Rwanda, in Group A.
Rwanda again.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but we've tested the Rwandans, and we know what they're capable of doing. We know they're a strong side, and besides, there's no minor anymore in African football as far as the modern football is concerned. So all they just have to do again
now is cricket. We are playing cricket.
Yeah, it's cricket. But then, when it comes to sport, every single nation is fast growing, is fast advancing, is fast developing. So we must not be complacent. We must not be carried away by our previous achievement against them, or whatever states we occupy. In the cricket rankings, the ongoing qualifiers. All we just have to do is let's go out there again, hungry as ever before. Put on the colors of the nation, defend it, knowing fully well that we have over 200 million Nigerians supporting them. They should go out there and then give the the runners a tough fight, do their best, qualify, and then represent Nigeria.
Okay, represent Nigeria and the continent of Africa in Malaysia come 2025. It is the Under-19 Cricket Women's World Cup qualifier. South Africa has already qualified, so they're looking for the second country. Can this Yellow Greens junior women's team pick that ticket? Yes, they are actually on course to pick that ticket. Playing against Rwanda, the host country, is going to be a big one, but the girls are psychologically, mentally, and battle ready for this one against the Rwandese right there at the Kahanga cricket over in Rwanda. That is where the event is ongoing. They won all their games, beating Malawi in the last game just yesterday to top the table, and they'll be playing Rwanda, who eventually lost to Uganda in Group A. All right, let's see how that is going to pan out. That semi-final game is bid for this weekend, and for the Yellow Greens Cricket Women's Junior team, we wish them well as they confront Rwanda and the qualifiers. It's going to be a big one, and a good news for us, the Nigerian Cricket Federation, and 200 million Nigerians if this get picked that ticket to represent Africa and Nigeria at the Under-19 Women's World Cup. All right, let's leave cricket and talk administrative in football now. We'll go straight to Delta State, where they've stepped down Warri Wolves, Delta Queens management. That's the Delta State stepping down the management of Warri Wolves and Delta Queens. You are conversant with this, but especially Warri Wolves, and now the management of the two teams has been dissolved by the Delta State government, and they've not set up any committee yet, but the news is that the management team for Warri Wolves and Delta Queens they've been stepped down.
should we consider that a weekend development or a progressive decision? The thing is not about dissolving the management. It's about getting it right, getting the right people into places, to anchor the affairs of these respective teams, the Delta Queens and the Warri Wolves. Because in the end, if you still put into place the mathematics, you understand that these things are political. And we must first understand that the interest of football development, especially when it comes to sport, is beyond individual self-interest. It's something that involves the society, it's something that involves the entire nation, it's something that involves the entire state. So any decision we're taking, we should ensure that it's not just to our own benefit or for the benefit of those who know who. It's about how we're going to avoid the mistakes that probably were not avoided in the previous administration, and then ensure that the people who are going to be brought into the picture are willing to serve selflessly in order to ensure that there's a growth, that everybody who follows the team will know that this is what the team or this is what the administration was lacking in the past.
Okay, if we look at it, Delta Queens were champions. We know what happened. They were champions 2 seasons ago. And now for Warri Wolves, they've been relegated for quite some years now. For the past 4 seasons, Warri Wolves have been playing in the Nigerian National League after they gained promotion to the elite division. Don't you think maybe it's mutually it might dissolve, as in this step down, the management has stepped down? Maybe it concerns Warri Wolves, especially. They want to see this team back to the MPFL. The women's side, they are doing well, despite what happened during last season. They couldn't win the league, but they gave it all. They gave their best. They were champions last 2 seasons. This whole thing, I don't think is because of Warri Wolves that the state government has to take this step.
First of all, let me get this right. Has the management stepped down, or the management has been dissolved?
It has been dissolved completely.
Yeah, it means that there was something that they were not getting it right. So the government, of course, the state government supersedes the affairs of these state teams.
Yeah,
so
of course.
I think they failed because Warri was unfortunate that after becoming a household name in the Nigerian Professional Football League, producing a quality player in the likes of Ogene Karitebo, who went on to represent Nigeria with the Super Eagles in the World Cup and other
even the Nations
Cup, and in the end, the team that produced such one sought after player is nowhere to be to seen again in the limelight. So I think the government's decision is based on what they've discovered that is not adding up with the management. So the new management that is coming in should also understand that the Warri Wolves is not a name that will just be will just disappear from the from the Blues all of a sudden. So they should make sure that this team play itself back to the limelight, where Nigerians will understand that this is why the previous administration was dissolved.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see how that goes. Definitely, there's no statement yet coming in from the government that maybe there is an interim committee that has been set up, but the former management of both clubs, of those state clubs, Delta Queens and Warri Wolves, has been dissolved, and they've been stepped down from their duties. So we're going to be seeing a new management in place. Warri Wolves have produced great stars in this country. You heard that name, Ogene Karitebo, a man who played in England, played in Portugal. Now, a team that produces him is not even playing in the Nigerian Premier Football League, though they are playing in the NNL. We want to see if they can get promotion back to the top division. All right, still talking Nigerian football. This time around, we'll go straight to MPFL. It is a rescheduled game, midweek games. 2 giant teams played on the midweek fixture. We had defending champions Enugu Rangers going far away to Ikorodu, that is playing in Lagos at the Onikan Stadium, and Enyimba also playing at home against Lobby Stars of Makurdi. And those 2 games went in favor of 1 home win and 1 away win, despite a red card in that game for Rangers. Yes, Enyimba beat Lobby Stars 2-1 at home, while Enugu Rangers, they continue to not scoring goals, just 1-1 goal since the beginning. Even during their preseason some of the pre-season games they played was 1-1 goal, and now that same 1 goal was what that ousted them from the CAF Champions League, and now they were able to beat Ikorodu City 1-0 right there. But for let's start with Enyimba, 2-1 against Lobby Stars. Lobby Stars lost to Rivers United in match day 3, and now they've lost their rescheduled game again.
Unfortunately, Lobby Stars, the last season were one of the title contenders, and it's just a little unbelievable how they're struggling this season, But it also, bows down to the change of administration.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So sometimes, it gives you a reason to begin to imagine if, these results sometimes, if they are acquired artificially or is what they actually do on the pitch of play. Because what happened, the same players, like I can tell you that over 70 to 75% of the players who participated last season were retained.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, the chairman, the former chairman was,
Dominic Ayofa,
was relieved of his duty, and then the new one came in, and then the team begins to, to struggle. So, well, that is Nigerian football, professional football league for you. It is what it is. But for for Rangers, trust me, Elechuku, is one person I so much respect, one coach I so much respect. And as they say it goes, if you cannot run, walk. If you can't run, crow. If you cannot crow, make sure you're there.
Of course.
So the goals, sometimes do not determine the outcome of a game. You can score 5 goals and the opponent scores, 6 goals, and then you will go home with nothing. So if you can manage to score one and defend that 1 goal, it's good for him. It's good for the team.
But scoring 1 goal has become something of an issue for that team. During the first round of game. It's still the first round of games of the CAF, as in the first round of CAF Champions League against a lowly rated Comoros Island team, that is Limadojo. They played here in Uyo, both home and away, because they didn't have a good stadium in Comoros, so they made use of Godswill Akpabio Stadium as the first leg, maybe playing as the home team. It was 1-0 against them, and then the return leg was 1-1 at that same stadium against Rangers, which at least the Rangers qualified 2-1 on aggregate, and now playing against Saragada Esperanca of Angola. 1-0 first leg here in Nigeria, and when they went away last weekend, it was 3-1 against us, which actually is not the kind of result Enugu Rangers wanted, and now they are out of the CAF Champions League. And coming back home, a game against Ikorodu City yesterday, it was 1-0, like you said. But don't you think this is a thing of worry for the team? Because yes, they got their 3 points, but they need, in the place where they needed to score more goals against Saragada Esperanca, they just managed to score 1, at least 2 goals in the 2 games.
Yes, it is. It should be a team of worry for them. They should be worried about the the narrow goal margins they've been dwelling on in the recent times. But then sometimes it comes down to the tactical formation of the coach, or maybe the striker is not clinical enough, or the entire team probably must have been wasteful in front of the goals. Yeah. So maybe the coach would definitely have to sit down, look into it and analyze it critically to understand where the team is lacking, if it's from the the front line or from the midfield, that the front line is having a short of both supplies. Yeah. So it's up to the technical department of the team to sit down and detect what is actually not adding up for the team. Okay,
Fidelis Ilechukwu, as we know, is a man who is very tactically sound. I believe he's going to sort that out with Enugu Rangers, and we are going to see the team back up and running, scoring goals with reckless abandon. All right, let's just have the result, a flash of the result on the screen, and we'll move to the next story. Enyimba 2-1 against Lobby Stars, and Ikorodu City lost 1-0 to Enugu Rangers. All right, let's go to the continent and talk cadet football. Yes, it is the junior category competition, AFCON Under-20 Nations Cup 2025. Now, South Africa has been given the hosting right to host it again. I think Patrice Motsepe, the CAF president, is trying to bring a different vibes into CAF. We are seeing some of the steps he has been making to make sure that African football becomes something to behold.
Yeah, Patrick, you know, he has. For me personally, I would say he has brought in a new face into the African football. And he's trying relentlessly to ensure that once again Africa, becomes a power to be reckoned on the global stage. But unfortunately, a tree cannot make a forest. This is something that it has to do with the collective responsibility of all the African footballing nations. Yes, FAs. Because you cannot build and another person destroys. It's difficult for such a foundation or a plan to stand. And I think the CAF itself, is not too clean of some of allegations or some corny alleged involvement in some scandals and everything. But they should understand that, especially at this cadet level, I keep emphasizing strongly on this. Cadet teams, cadet tournament, cadet schemes like this actually hold a strong future to the main development of football and then the main national teams. So if we fail at this level as a continent, not just as a country, as a continent, then trust me, Africa will still be far from what we've always dreamed of, that someday we'll see an African nation lifting the World Cup. So it's something that we have to come together as a nation, we have to come together as a continent, put our hands together, work together to ensure that regardless of who is our rival or not, because there's always this rivalry of this is a South African, this is a Nigerian, this is an Egyptian. We have to put that aside and come together how the way the Europeans do, the way the South Americans do. That this is about a continent of Africa trying to recreate a new image, and take it to and represent the continent. And of course, Africa is a big continent. It's one continent that so many people expect a lot from. So for what Mr. Patrick has brought in so far, I think all he just needs is everybody's support to rally around him and bring out their support, and regardless of their personal interest, they should put that aside, and we see the continent bouncing back to its feet again.
Okay, we'll see the continent bouncing back to its feet. It is the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations where we expect the Flying Eagles to also qualify, but they have to play from the WAFU Zone B qualifiers, which will be coming up next month, and Coach Zuberu Aliu has been saddled with that responsibility. A quick one on Coach Zuberu Aliu. After Landa Bozo was changed from that position, and now we have Academy Warriors coach to handle this team. Barely just 1 month to a competition, and we are naming a coach for the Under-20 team. How do we go? Because the qualifiers is just next month, and we have few days to next month from today. So he has assembled a team, but how can he, from the WAFU zone, we have to qualify from the WAFU zone?
It would have been a shocker to me if we had actually started the preparation far earlier than we did, because this is Nigeria, and we always every time we're always caught unaware. So and I've been privileged to witness some of the screening exercises, and I must tell you, I'm not impressed, not with the talent I witnessed, but the manner of the organization, the system, the manner they're approaching the whole preparation, scouting there, because you go there every day, you see new faces, you see 25 new players, 10 drop, 150 players around, and you're asking, this is Under-20 for crying out loud. At the age of 18, a player should be playing, in the domestic league. So with that, it will be easier for you,
to know who
is fit, to represent Nigeria at that level. Other countries, they don't call for this, screening where numerous players come out every now and then there's a lot of power tussle. This player comes from who, this one comes from, he has to play, he has to fit into the team. So it's something that, for me, I don't know, but I respect Coach Zuberu. I watched him, last season, lift the FA Cup with the Academy Warriors, who were at the initial stage, deemed, an underdog. But they proved everybody wrong by going all the way to, lift the trophy. But that's not enough. He needs, a strong support. He needs, to be given the freedom, the liberty to operate independently as a coach, to take his decisions based on what he thinks will benefit the team and the entire nation. So every now and then we're at the same spot. As I talk to you right now, if you go there, you see like 100 players, roaming about the stadium. There's no proper,
documentation.
Projection of this is what the team wants to, to do. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, let's see how it goes. We know how to do the fire brigade approach, but we have to stop all of this if we want to get it right. We just have to get it right from under 17, or from under 13, under 15, under 17, under 20, before we can look forward to the Super Eagles. But it is what it is. South Africa will be hosting it. The tournament come 2025. But the Flying Eagles have to qualify from WAFU Zone B to represent Nigeria at the under 20 AFCON Nations Cup. All right, we'll leave that and go straight to Europe. Yes, Nigerian players in Europe are doing good, and indeed, it's always good when we hear cheering news about our players in Europe. We'll go straight to Ligue 1, that is Ligue 1, that is where we'll be starting from. It was a good news, and myself, I'm happy for this news for this young man. Okay, not just a young man, at least he's aging. He plays in the Super Eagles, so I cannot say he's a young man just like that. At least age is still, at least he has few years to play in football. That is FC Nantes' player, who's Moses Simon. They celebrate his 150th appearances. This was a player that came from Levante in Spain to join Nantes on loan before he was made permanent. As you can see on the screen, 150 matches in Ligue 1 for Moses Simon.
Moses Simon is one quality player that regardless his age, but you must give him his flowers for his consistency over the years. He has been wonderful. He has been consistent. He has been competent. He has been focused. He has been humble. He has been disciplined. He's a player that you hardly see him involved in any media scandal with even the management or the coaches or whoever is around him. So I'm not surprised with his achievement so far, because he deserves it. It's a well-deserved achievement, and if take injury away, the young man can go all the way to even play a double figure for them, because he's one guy that so much respect his professionalism, his focus, he's humble, he's hardworking, he's dedicated, and above all, if he continues this way, sky will not always, only be his limit, but also a stepping stone. And I think he has already projected himself as a role model to the younger generation, and I'm happy for him. Congratulations to him.
Yes, congratulations to Moses Simon. Let's have that back on the screen. Let's see the numbers of matches, as in goals. He has 150 games, 27 goals, and 29 assists to his name, and he has started the season. He started the season on injury, but came back, and last weekend also he was instrumental for Nantes in that game, getting an assist in that game, and before the last weekend game also got an assist. So I think he has been good. He has come good for Nantes in French Ligue 1. They won the Coupe de France, I think 2 seasons ago, and he has been doing good. 150 games for Moses Simon in French Ligue 1, I think is something to behold and something to cheer. All right, let's quickly go for this short video break. We'll be right back. That game you saw, Super Falcons against the Côte d'Ivoire women, and we'll be right. Okay, when we have that video, we'll just bring it on the screen. But we are still staying in Europe. Quickly, this time around, we'll talk about the second tier of European club competitions. It was a good outing for Nigerian players in Europa League. 10 of them were in action, and yes, the 10 of them gave a very good account of themselves, though some have not played for the Super Eagles, while some have played for the Super Eagles. The likes of Victor Osimhen, who would have got his first goal for Galatasaray, but it was adjudged an own goal, but he got an assist for the second goal in that game. And also Dele Bashiru was on the score sheet, an assist. So it was a good outing for Nigerian players in their respective club in Europa League games that were played last night.
Yeah, good for the Super Eagles, good for Nigeria as a nation, and also thanks for some of them who were actually born outside Nigeria to stay accept the responsibility of being identified as Nigerians and identify with Nigeria. As you said, there are some of them haven't played, and some may not even get to play for Super Eagles, but then they are Nigerians, and we must always give them our support. For Osimhen, I think he has really, he has really won the heart of Galatasaray fans. He has given them every reason to rejoice, for his signing, for his, later, signing, loan move to Galatasaray. And Dele Bashiru, the young man, he keeps creating, good headlines, and I'm happy for him. And when you see players who represent Nigeria, doing very well in their respective club side, you know that the future of, the country they represent is, no doubt, is going to be brighter. So for Dele Bashiru, I just hope, he stays off injury, and then he continues to, improve, as the time progresses. And Osimhen is already a household name. It's just a matter of time he will find his rhyme again, and then you'll be all over the sky.
Okay, for Victor Osimhen, the coach actually say yes, they are going to make sure his partnership with Mauro Icardi, the Argentine, works perfectly. And Icardi was on the bench yesterday before and it was he was put on, and Osimhen was substituted. Just the two of them were a substitute. He substituted Osimhen in that game, but before Osimhen was substituted from that game, that the first goal would have been his goal, but we actually saw the player touch that ball and bundle it, and he was trying to clear, and eventually the ball went into the net. We were rejoicing that it was Victor Osimhen that got the goal, but after looking at the replay and what have you, they adjudged it as an own goal. But he didn't stop there. He gave an assist for the second goal in that 3-1 win. Now for Victor Osimhen and Galatasaray, working perfectly. If you had to advise Osimhen, should he make that deal permanently? Because right now Galatasaray might be looking at that deal to be permanent.
Well, first of all, it's too early to start discussing or imagining that, because remember, prior to his late loan move to Galatasaray, he was already much, rusty. He was an unused player. He was, sent, down the pecking order. He training with the B team, the reserve team, and all that. So he is just trying to, find his fitness, match fitness back, and he has not really started scoring goals as the Osimhen we all know. So let's see, how productive, he becomes, for the team, and for his partnership with Mauro Icardi. I don't see that working, because Osimhen is a kind of striker that is a lone ranger, is a kind of striker that wants to play, up front alone, muzzle the defenders, get the ball, and then slot into the back of the net. And for Mauro, is another player. He considers himself a big name, so he may not be that selfless to give the supplies to Osimhen to slot in. Yeah. So I don't know how the coach analyzed and came to the conclusion for both of them. But if you ask me, to my honest opinion, I would tell you categorically that Osimhen is not his partnership with Mauro Icardi might be disastrous. Okay,
what of Batshuayi? Because Batshuayi is there.
You can pair Batshuayi and Icardi, but Osimhen is a lone striker. We all know that. I've never seen him being productive playing alongside a second striker.
Okay, the result, it was a good one for Galatasaray in the Europa League. That game ended 3-1 in favor of Galatasaray, and for Victor Osimhen, that is his third assist since he started donning the jersey of the Galatasaray team. Let's have the full results of those games that were played in the Europa League. We'll look at those results one after the other. For AZ Alkmaar, they defeated Elfsborg 3-2, and Bodo Glimt against Porto, it was 3-2. Anderlecht beat Ferencváros of Bulgaria 2-1. And Dynamo Kiev lost at home to Lazio 3-0. Like I said, Dele Bashiru, Super Eagles midfielder, getting one of those goals and also getting an assist in that game. For Galatasaray, it was 3-1 against PAOK Salonika. Victor Osimhen himself getting an assist also in that game. For Ludogorets, they lost to Slava Prague of Czech 2-0. And Manchester United continued their wobbling form in front of their home fans. They were held to a 1-1 draw by FC 20 of Netherlands, and Midtjylland and Hoffenheim played 1-1 also Nice and Real Sociedad also ended on a 1-1 goalless 1-1 draw. Now let's look at Manchester United. Manchester United continues to fumble in front of their home fans. They all expected to get a win. It was 1-1 against FC20 after Eriksen gave them the lead.
It's in a struggling moment for Manchester United and the coach, and the fans, they have to come in terms with the reality of life that the team is currently undergoing a transitional process, which involves a lot of bitter moments, but they have to keep supporting the team, because you could see some years ago, like 10 years ago, Manchester United was a name that when you hear the name, everybody goes into jittering. But unfortunately today it's a different thing, and every team is undergoing these transitional processes by trying to get a new team, build a new team that will last at least for another decade,
test of
time. And unfortunately, Manchester United is a team with a high profile, big name, and both in Europa and in English, Premier League, and the fans still, nurture the same expectation. But trust me, their expectations are different from the reality of life. So they have to keep supporting the team, because the coach has made it clear, that he's not a bad coach. He's done it with Ajax in, Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Yes.
But okay, go ahead.
Yes, and the EPL is another different ball game from when you're coming from a league like the Eredivisie in the Netherlands, and coming to a big team, a big club, with a huge atmosphere in the locker room like Manchester United. There'll be a lot of pressure, there'll be a lot of expectations, and sometimes you don't just get it right, so you have to take time to understand the culture, understand the atmosphere, understand.
But what time does he need? This is the third season.
Yes, this is third season. Yes, I know. Considering the pedigree of a team like Manchester United, but I mean, the other teams are still going through the same process. I'm not a Manchester United fan.
I know.
I understand that this rebuilding process is something that does not just happen suddenly. It's something that involves a lot of sacrifices, a lot of perseverance and patience. So for Erik ten Hag and his team, it was a bitter result for them in the front of their fans, in the capacity of Old Trafford, but I think they will get it right in the second leg against.
So you are advising Manchester United fans to be patient with Erik ten Hag and the board?
Of course, because you see, back then when they were a glorious team all over Europe, there were no VAR. The introduction of VAR brought a lot of changes in the football. Yeah, sometimes the goals that were allowed this time around, after a replay, another decision, it can be taken. So it's something that the fans have to understand, that football is now more digital than how it was some years ago.
Okay, football is now more digital. For Manchester United fans, they just have to be patient with Erik ten Hag. Definitely, he's going to come good for the Old Trafford team. They say it is the theater of dreams, but now the dreams are gradually fading away from the theater of dreams. So, all right, let's have okay, we've seen the full result. Let's leave the Europa League, and now we'll look at the English Football League Cup. That is a Carabao Cup, or the Carling Cup as you may know it. There were games last night, and it was a 5-star performance for Arsenal against Bolton Wanderers, the same 5-star performance for Liverpool against West Ham United. Arsenal beating Bolton at Emirates Stadium, Liverpool beating West Ham United 5-1 at Anfield. So the two teams putting up a 5-star performance, scoring 5 goals.
Against a team that has no,
But West Ham United, okay, start with Arsenal.
Yeah, but West Ham, they're currently struggling under,
Lopetegui.
Yeah, and for Bolton Wanderers, I don't know. It's a name, of course. When you call Bolton Wanderers, the first thing that comes to the minds of Nigerians is the legendary JJ Okocha. But this is a new era. This is a new generation, and Arsenal, I know it was prior to the match. There was some pre-match meetings, interviews, and I remember Gabriel Jesus saying that he was once, you know, a youth player who, you know, sometimes, you know, is drafted, you know, to play games like this, so they have to give chance for the younger ones. So Arsenal is one thing that I respect when it comes to, you know, quality football. And you know, Bolton Wanderers, to them, the Carabao Cup may not be as important, you know, to them as, you know, trying to fight their way, yeah, you know, back. So for us now, you know, at some point we were like, it was like, you know, a family business for them. So they are not, you know, unfamiliar faces in the Carabao Carling Cup, as it, you know, it was, you know, it was known in the past. So it was a good, you know, display from there, a good result from them, good goal margin, but can they take that to the, you know, the Premier League? That's the question.
Okay, that's the question. Now we will also discuss about the draws. Let's have the draws, because the draws were conducted, and now we'll look at the draws one after the other. Brentford will play Sheffield Wednesday. Brentford is playing in the EPL. Stoke City will confront Southampton. Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City. That's one of the biggest games in the fourth round of the EFL Cup. Then AFC Wimbledon and Newcastle United, one of them will face Chelsea. That team will have they'll have to replay that game because of what happened in Wimbledon. The stadium was not that too okay, and I heard that Newcastle actually extended the gesture to that team by giving them some amount of money to work on their stadium. So whoever wins that game will play Chelsea. Manchester United will play another EPL side, that is Leicester City. Brighton against Liverpool, another EPL fixture, as in another EPL, let me say EPL fixture in the EFL Cup. Preston will now play Arsenal, while Aston Villa play Crystal Palace. So the big boys are still in this, but one of the biggest games there is going to be Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City in the fourth round, and then Brighton, Liverpool, Man United, Leicester City, probably maybe Newcastle, Chelsea, or AFC Wimbledon. Whatever is the outcome of that result, will be playing Chelsea. But Tottenham, Man City in the fourth round. Quickly, Shondo.
If you take away AFC Wimbledon, then the rest of the teams are all Premier League tested teams, and then it's going to be a showdown of you know, EPL away from EPL.
Of course, away from EPL. But Tottenham, I think it's going to be a tricky one for Man City going to because they will face Tottenham Hotspur away.
Yeah, at White Hart Lane.
Yeah. So if you look at like you said, it's going to, if you just take away the Premier League, it's like a Premier League fixture away from Premier League in the fourth round of this particular competition.
Remember the man behind Manchester City, Pep Guardiola.
Okay.
He's a man that wants to win everything at every given time. So when he's, you know, unfortunately Rodri, you know, the Boston player, you know, is out with a knee, you know, for the rest of the season. So, but he's a man that's always improvised, the man that always have alternative to every, you know, situation. So let's see, you know, what the outcome will be.
Okay, let's see what the outcome will be. Those are the fourth round of fixtures. They are mouth-watering fixtures in the fourth round. Tottenham, Manchester City, Leicester City against Man United, and we'll also see Brighton also doing battle. We have Liverpool. So all of these are Premier League teams that will be playing in the English Football League fourth round competition. All right, let's leave that. There was some cup games also in Italy. That is the Coppa Italia. We'll look at the Coppa Italia result. Pisa lost to Cesena 1-0. Udinese, yes, putting the disappointment of the weekend behind them, beat Salernitana 3-1. That is Maduka Okoye's team. And Genoa and Sampdoria ended it 1-1, but Sampdoria went ahead to win 6-5 on penalties. Quickly, for Udinese against Salernitana, I think Maduka Okoye actually spoke about this game after the disappointment in the league over the weekend, and now yes, it was a good show, though he conceded, but they got the win.
Italian football is one football that is very, you know, tricky and strange, you know, that sometimes the least team you know, you never consider to upset, you know, a team, an opponent, end up, you know, taking the day. So for Udinese, they are coming from, you know, they're like wounded lions. So they went in, you know, into the battle, you know, with wounded hearts. And then for Maduka Okoye, I can see the reason why most Nigerians are saying, oh, look, you know what? When the guy was first brought into the national team, he was probably, you know, lacking experience. But this is the right time for the guy to take over the sticks. So he made a good case for himself. Because you never can tell. You know, he needs to be given the chance again. You know, as Nigerians are, you know, are widely saying, you know, it's not up to me, it's not up to you, but the Nigerians, everybody believes that this is the time to
give him another chance,
another opportunity, and then give him that support he deserves.
Okay, give him that support he deserves. I think I love what is happening in the goalkeeping department of the Super Eagles. So it's going to be competition. Sterling Wambale, Maduka Okoye, and Obasoge. All of the three of them will be battling it out. Who takes, at least, if we have three good goalkeepers, yes, I think it's a short one for the Super Eagles. All right, let's leave the Copa Italia. There were games in La Liga last night also. There were games in La Liga. Let's quickly have the result. Just two games. Girona and Rayo played a goalless draw, while Barcelona pipped Getafe 1-0. All right, we will not talk about the La Liga result. Let's go straight to the UEFA Women's Champions League. It is the second round games for the Women's Champions League, and we had some results. Slavia Prague lost to Galatasaray 2-1. Yes, our own Super Falcons player Tosi Dimehin is also part of that team. So both the male team and the women's team getting a win in their respective game. The women are playing the Champions League, while Osimhen and his boys are playing in the Europa League. And then for Vålerenga of Norway, it was 3-0 against Anderlecht. They later won 5-1 on aggregate because it ended the same scoreline. So Vålerenga winning 5-1 on aggregate to progress into the next round. Wolfsburg beat Fiorentina 5-0, and in total it was 12-0 on aggregate. Wow, Wolfsburg, just the way Real Madrid is in the men's Champions League, that is how, okay, not Wolfsburg, now it's Lyon, I beg your pardon, in the women's Champions League. I think Wolfsburg is second, having won the Champions League, following Lyon in that order in the women's Champions League. And then for FC Benfica, they lost to Hammarby by 2-0, and it was a sad one for FC Benfica, Christy Uchebe's team, who got injured while they were preparing for this game.
A very, unfortunate one for SL Benfica as well as the Super Falcons, because when a player who is an integral part of member of the team is injured in his or her club side, that it's not a good news at all for the national team he or she represents. And for Tosin Demihi, a good one for her. She's a new signing, and I think she's beginning to settle into the team very well. Yeah, quick. So it was a good one for Tosin with her gala side, while an unfortunate one for Christiana Uchebe, and also for her injury. All we can say is that we wish her a quick recovery, a speedy recovery. Okay,
we wish Christy Uchebe a speedy recovery. She was there because she's an integral part of that team at the middle of the park. That is where she does her business for SL Benfica. But let's see how it goes. Tosi Dimehi, congratulations. And immediately they just signed her, and she's settling down quickly in that team, and she has appeared ever since the day she put the dotted lines to paper for Galatasaray. So congratulations to Victor Osimhen and Tosi Dimehi for progressing in their respective competitions. All right, we will look at some transfers on the show. Before we go, let's start with this one. Liverpool targets Real Madrid winger Rodrigo. For Liverpool, we know Rodrigo is trying to prove a point in Real Madrid. If his deal is bound to expire next summer, Liverpool going for Rodrigo.
The past seasons, the young man was limited. Had a limited game time, and then he understands the situation around his contract, and I think he wants a new life, a new environment where he can really, have that. Believe that, once again, have a coach that totally believes in him, where he can, show the class he's got in him. So for Liverpool, I know they're also struggling, because understanding fully well that Mohamed Salah has almost a few time left in his career.
Contract.
Yeah, and also his situation around his contract, and with a lot of speculation surrounding him, and a money move to the Arab money world.
Yes.
So I think they are just trying to have some You know,
at least they want to prepare for life after Mo Salah.
Yeah, so they are trying to, you know, prepare for life after, you know, Mo Salah, as you said. So if they are going for me, it's not just a mere media speculations. I think Rodrigo is not a bad, it won't be a bad one for them. Unfortunately, some Spanish players struggle, you know, especially when they get to a certain age and they have a move to the EPL, you know, because, you know, the La Liga is less physical, while the EPL is more physical. So I don't know if Rodrigo will be a good addition for them and quickly acclimatize to the physicality in the EPL. But then if he does, then it's going to be a good one for them.
It's going to be a good one for Rodrigo, the Samba boy. He plays with his Brazilian national team, but he has been playing in La Liga. All right, let's take the last two quickly. Chelsea shows interest in Victor Boniface. That is, we know Victor Boniface plays for Bayer Leverkusen, Super Eagles striker. And the last one on the show, Manchester United continues the chase of Everton defender Jared Brantwaite. All right, this is where we'll be leaving it on the show. 360 Sports. Thanks, Shiando, for coming on the show. It's good having you on the program this morning.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Fash.
All right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashion. Thanks for watching.